What's going on, you guys? Fulst here, and I am back with another video. In today's video, I'll be doing an in-depth Elise guide to soloing Baron. Now, soloing Baron with Elise, probably a lot of players, even Elise mains, Elise one-tricks, don't even know this is possible. It came as a surprise to me as well, because I found this out in solo queue playing against an Elise that actually did it. And at that point, I was like, alright, this is crazy. I want to learn how to do this. There was a couple months back, so I went into a practice tool and I just spammed it, figured out a method for it. And that's the method I'll be showing you right now. Now, do keep in mind that this method is with a normal build, regular style build. No gnash your tooth, gunblade business, no like attack speed, jungle item type of stuff. A normal build, no dragon buffs at all. So yeah. Any questions, any regular questions on Elise in general, I do have an in-depth explanation, a guide for her. So from item builds to runes to like how to play the game as Elise in general, everything is explained there. Will be the top line in the description for those interested. But this video is going to purely be for the solo Baron, so no build explanations or way to get to the situation in game you are going to be at. So yeah. I'll show you the example first, and then we go into the explanation on how to do it. Okay, so after having seen that example, I am first up gonna explain Elise's kit a little bit more in detail that are like important factors for doing this. So one important thing to note is, of course, Elise is passive. You get spiderlings back every time you hit an ability on a target. So this is very, very important. This also applies to your stun. So you have to be able to stun or not. You will not be able to stun the Baron, but you need to at least hit the ability on the Baron to get a spiderling from it. These spiderlings are key because these are your main source of damage, but also a very good amount of healing you'll have. So this is a very important factor. So all your human form abilities are all going to be effective only really to get your spiders back. You have to keep those spiders up at all times. If your spiders die, you will have a very, very difficult time actually killing Barons. So you need to make sure to get those spiders by cycling these abilities and keeping in mind the cooldowns of them. They're all like basic here, 12 seconds, 6 seconds, and on level 13, which is probably the level you'll be at once you start doing this, or will be able to start doing this. Pretty much when Baron spawns is really the reason. You will have you will have 4 spiderlings at this point, because you will have it rank 3 in your passive, because you have rank 2 in your ultimate on level 11 right here. On level 16 you'll get 5 spiderlings, which makes this way easier, because every single extra spiderling is a lot of extra DPS and ability to tank the Baron. So the higher level you are, the more items you have, the easier this solo Baron is. On level 13, however, it's the hardest possible without Baron, or sorry, without dragons. Now, for the spider form abilities, and this is also very key, this scales on missing health. Now, it is capped against monsters, so the lower the Baron health is, the easier you're gonna hit the cap, really. So that's what, like, the lower Baron gets, the more you'll actually hit the Baron, really. So that's not too big of a deal there. Just make sure you use this on cooldown. Also, well, not on cooldown. You have to make sure to use this to group your spiders together on the Baron. If you use Venomous Bite, your spiders, or all your spiderlings around you will shoot to the nearby enemy, or the enemy you hit with the bite, of course. And that's the way you group them together at Baron, and then that way you can walk to the side and have them grouped. Now, the main source of your damage output is this ability right here. And to be able to do this early on, without helps from dragons or anything like that, you need to have this max level. So that's why this is at level 13. because it gives 140% extra attack speed, as you can see right here. Also, passive attack speed is pretty nice, but it's mainly this. And then activating this, the spiderlings gain the attack speed as well, so you're gonna just burn through this really, really, really fast. Now, this little bit of information here is also pretty important. Resets Elise's auto attack timer, so always try to get in one auto attack before you use this, because every single bit of damage is important, and you need to have the highest DPS possible to be able to do this without any help, let's say. Now, the other thing to keep in mind here is this ability. This ability has a high cooldown, so it can only really be used, even though you're gonna have 20 to 30% CDR, this can only really be used once, maybe twice on an effective Baron kill. The way you want to use Repel is you do not want to use it on an asset pool. The Baron has various special abilities, which we'll get into in a second. Do not use Repel on an asset pool. I'll mention this later as well. So the way to use this is on the shot, really. You have one option, and you only want to use this with multiple spiders up. So if you have 3 to 4 spiders up, then you can use Repel. If you do not, then you have to switch out to your back to your human form to refresh your spiders, and then go back and do the rotation again, which will be shown afterwards as well. So that's Elise. Now we're gonna get into some of Baron's stats. Now, for Baron's stats, you need to keep in mind that based on game time, Baron gets stronger. So at 20 minutes, straight up bang on 20 minutes is the easiest to kill him. Now, this might not be realistic for you to actually bang on do it on 20 minutes if you have like fights going on or whatever. The margin where you can still do it is the margin where you're like level 13 with the items that I had in the clip. If Baron goes past 315 on his attack damage value, you will not be able to clear it without the help from dragons or just like a teammate, of course. But if you have the dragons, this is still doable, but it caps out at 24 minutes unless you, of course, have dragon help or more items. So that's one. You will have the Baron will have more HP the longer the game goes on. So doing this early as possible, so between 20 and 24 minutes, you're not going to be able to do it past that with this basic setup. You will need some help from Drakes, which you'll most likely have anyway. But Baron will gain HP, so the longer it lasts, the longer the game lasts, the more HP Baron's going to have. This doesn't matter. This might come as a surprise to you, but Elise does so much HP-based damage and HP scaling damage that it actually doesn't matter if it has more HP or not. It's kind of the same kill speed, kill time. You have the same type of DPS towards a higher HP Baron as a lower HP Baron. So there's really no difference there, so keep that in mind. The only thing that matters is attack damage and being able to tank the Baron for long enough to where your spiderlings will be able to burn him down. So the most important factor is attack damage, and that's also why doing it at later levels or at higher levels is easier than doing it early on, because you will be able to have more armor / more items to be able to tank Baron more effectively. Now, later levels, of course, you can see he has way more attack damage. At game time 40 minutes, he has 435, which that's capped. So as soon as it's 40 minutes and up, every Baron there is just straight up easy. It might have more HP, but again, I mentioned it doesn't matter how much HP he has. You burn it down pretty much the same effective time anyway. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Now, for his abilities, he has a rotation that he does. He doesn't vary from this rotation. He does the same thing every time. Now, the only thing that's random or unpredictable, I suppose, is the initial ability he uses. He uses an ability once every 6 auto attacks. So you kind of have to start counting. So every time he auto attacks you, you do 1, then next auto attack, until you get the 6. The 6th auto attack is also the moment he pretty much instantly starts using his ability. So there's no 6 auto attacks, then he uses his ability. No, it's 6 auto attacks and the ability comes at the same time, pretty much. So whatever this is, acid pool, acid shot, tentacle, knockup, or then it resets again. So whatever those are, it doesn't matter. You just have to switch out of your form and then restock on spiderlings by using your human form abilities and then switch back. Now, using Repel is only viable on one of these rotations, so you need to keep that in mind. Using it on the acid pool is not viable, because if you use it on the acid pool rotation, or his ability rotation there, then the moment you come down, you will instantly have all your spiderlings die. That's not what you want. You want to make sure that your spiderlings live as long as possible, of course. So if he uses the acid pool variation of his abilities, you absolutely have to switch back to human form, stand out of the acid pool, and wait for it to disappear. So that's what you have to do for this one. Now, the acid shot is the one where it's viable to use repel on. Acid shot's the moment when he shoots out a beam in a direction that's acid shot. That one is easily dodgeable because all you have to do with repel is just go up and instantly go back down. You do not want to stay in the air, because if you stay in the air, Baron's HP is going to regen because you're not going to be in combat with him anymore. So acid shot, instantly go up and instantly go back down. That's the way you dodge it. Also, this is the effective way to use your repel's effect. So repel right here. Again, spider effects increase. So at level 13, you're only going to have this at the initial rank, which is 40%. But the higher level you're going to get, so the later the game is going to go, the stronger Baron's going to get, the more effective your repel is going to be at actually increasing the damage on Baron. If you are level 18, full build Elise, you're burning Baron really, really fast, because you're going to have 100% increased effectiveness with repel. And then this will also be on the lowest cooldown it can be. So this will be able to be used quite a bit to be able to speed up the Baron kill. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. So use it on acid shot, not on the rest. You can use it on the tentacle knockup as well for the same reason. But the reason I don't use it for the tentacle knockup and why I find it to be a little bit less effective is because this is very easily dodgeable. The tentacle knockup goes towards you most of the time. It can go towards your spiderlings, but if it does, then you can instantly just turn off your form and then go back to human form, use your abilities, refresh. Acid Shot's the easiest one to dodge because you can do it instantly. There's no delay on it because Acid Shot starts close to Baron, where your spiderlings are going to be, and goes out in a direction. So instantly going up and down on that is going to make sure you instantly dodge it, no problems at all. So keep this rotation in mind. This rotation is very, very, very important, and that's the way you kind of want to think about it. Also, if you use it on just one of this rotations, so Acid Shot in this case, then your repel cooldown is going to synergize with that, really. So you will be able to pull it off twice in that situation. Now, if he starts with Acid Shot, that's pretty much the ideal situation, because starting with that instantly means you can repel that, and then Acid Shot will come up in another rotation, and you will easily be able to use it again. So that's really just speaking for itself. So yeah, that's the things you need to know about Baron. Now, just one more thing that's very important as well is this right here. Baron's Gaze. This debuff needs to not be on you, because if this is on you, this also counts towards your spiderlings. However, if this is on one of your spiderlings, this doesn't count towards the rest of your spiderlings or you. So this right here is the buff you want, is the reason you want your spiderlings to tank the Baron. Getting the 50% reduced damage means your kill speed is going to be way too slow, so in that matter, you're going to have to tank way more damage on Baron. So for that reason, this right here needs to be on your spiderlings, and that's why you have to step back, wait for the Baron to hit your spiderlings, step back in front of the Baron, and then just keep kind of juking him back and forth to be able to get this buff off of you. This buff is what kills your runs. If you keep this buff on yourself too long, you will die. So that being said, I will now go in detail on my gameplay bit of the killing the Baron. Alright, so the kill on Baron. You initially want to start the skill out with throwing your W. Your W has a 3-second time that will before it will explode. You cannot use your spider form Q to have this jump to Baron, because apparently that doesn't work and it won't explode. So you have to throw and lead with that. So right here you can see I lead with that, wait for this to pretty much explode at this point. And then right as it is about to explode, I throw my Q in my human form and then instantly switch to spider form and Q again. This will, as you can see, all the spiderlings jump towards Baron, and this will start you with the highest amount of burst you can. It's a small detail, but every small detail on this kill matters because it's not easy. So that happens then. Instantly what I do is I walk to the side, down. So I start up here, so Baron initially aggresses here. And then I walk down. The reason I do this is because if he goes for one of his explosion auto attacks, then I do not want to be next to my spiderlings, or my spiderlings will instantly die. So I instantly walk to the other side, and he switches back aggro to the spiderlings. Spiderlings are on this side, so you cannot hit the auto attack on me and on the spiderlings. And if he goes for the spiderlings, it will go behind him. So for that reason here, as you can see right now, I stand on the side. I lost my debuff, as you saw here as well, because my spiderlings started tanking, spiderlings started dying. With the W active from here, you will do a lot of damage. As you can see, he already lost a good amount of HP. Now, he is almost up to 6 auto attacks right now, so he's going to use his ability. That auto attack you saw was his 6th auto attack. So this ability right here, this ability you can repel. The reason I don't repel it is because you only want to repel if you have 3 or 4 spiderlings. If you have less than that, then using repel is not going to be as effective in the increased 40% damage you will have on level 13. Now this goes up the higher level you are, as I mentioned earlier, but right now for this kill, level 13 kill, you do not want to use your repel unless you have 3 or 4 spiderlings up. So I don't use it. I instantly just, as soon as I see the ability, right as you see him about to use it, you switch back to have all your abilities up right now, and you instantly want to use these abilities. Now, the way to do this is you can do Q first. You want to just use it as fast as possible. It's QW. You can WQ as well, it's whatever. And then stun as well to get your spiders back up. Now, in this case, since I did have my my 2 spiderlings still up, I didn't use my stun. Because as you can see, as this explodes, I get another spider. You want to keep track of this count. So I'll go back just a little bit here, if I can, right here. Again, just so you know, you see me have 3 spiders right now. As soon as my W, since this once it explodes, it will give you a spider. I am not going to use my E. You do not want to unnecessarily put your E on cooldown if it doesn't give you an extra spiderling, and if it doesn't give you a benefit. So for that reason, I keep my my E right now. I'm switching back to this, instantly get spider. I will get, because of the W explosion, he kills 1. This is the AoE auto attack. He kills 1 of my spiders. And then I instantly get 1 back because my W exploded and actually hit. So for that reason, I have 3 again now. So same thing applies here. I stand back to the side. Doesn't have to be the down. You can also kite him up a little bit. Make sure that I don't get the damage debuff, as you can see. And then right here, you see the ability moving for the knock-up. So instantly right there, you see me switch back to human form again. I have 2 again. So right here, I use this. I use the stun in this situation as well, because a thing you can do is, if you, as you saw it before as well, I kind of wanted to use both, but you can do it with 3. Now, if you have one of your spiders die and then this explodes, you will instantly get 1 back. So that's the other situation of it. So right here, I noticed that and I adapted. So right in the last one of my spiders died and I instantly got 1 back. So I noticed the difference there, and that's also something you kind of have to start looking at. Really keep track of those spiders. So right there again, it exploded, I got my 4th spider back, and there we go again. Now this asset pool right here shows up, I instantly switch back out of the form, stand towards the side, I do not want to get hit by this at all, and then just go back to casting my abilities. Now, you see the perfect rotation of this. Every 6 auto attacks perfectly works out to be your E cooldown pretty much, because it just came like up and you can pretty much use the rotation perfectly. So right there again, I stand on the side. I do not instantly switch back to spider form, and it's very important on this asset pool phase. This is the most annoying phase there is, because if you instantly switch back and Q, all your spiders will jump in and will all get hit by acid pool and all die. That's how you wipe. That's instantly, if that happens to you, all your spiderlings die to the acid pool, you are dead. You cannot do the Baron anymore, so instantly just walk away. You do not want to feel that. So right here, I wait for the acid pool to run away, to go away, and then I switch back. Instantly walking to the side. My spiders were already kind of grouped, so I didn't initially queue there. I waited for the spiders to kite down, and then I queued here in this downward situation where I had the option there. Now smiting, also very important. You want to use your smites. You need to have both smites to do this, but you want to use your smites apart from each other. So first you use your smite when you get low enough, so you get the full heal from your smite, and then you would need to wait 15 seconds before you can use your other smite. So using it early enough to where you get the maximum heal from your smite, but also using it late enough. Well, you need to use it at the time to get the maximum heal for your smite, but also early enough to where you can get your second smite on the Baron, because else you're not going to make it. So you see me have used both my smites now. And then on this acid rain phase, I had 3 spiderlings, so I used repel. Now this repel, this is going to be a massive burn phase. As you can see, the damage will go up in this section after repel heavily, because the 40% damage increase you have on the effectiveness of your spiders. You see it burn down really fast in this phase, and if you can do this 2 times in Barons, like in your kill on Baron, then it's gonna be a lot easier. So I use the repel on the acid phase right there, and then with W and Q I start burning it down. Now, in this, I made a slight mistake, and this can cost you, didn't in this case, but as you can see, I have the Baron debuff on me right now instead of on my spiders. And this is still on me, and it's still on me, and it's not going towards my spider in that situation. So I did a good amount less damage, and I took all that extra damage because I didn't kill him fast enough. So that's a slight error on this, and this is kind of what that blue pot fixes. This slight mistake that I made on this specific kill can be the difference towards you needing a blue pot or not. If I didn't make that tiny mistake, like this mistake right here, this mistake is quite literally just me not stepping back just far enough. Because as you can see, the aggro is going to be on me. And if I would have stepped back like here, 1 step further, this aggro would have gone back to my spider. It didn't in this case, it did go back to me there, and I made a slight mistake in this situation. So I had this buff too long, which reduced my damage output. So that's kind of what that blue pot fixes, and that's, like I showed you, it's a tiny mistake, and if you don't make that mistake, you do not need the blue pot, but doing the Baron perfectly every single time is definitely not easy. Even me, after having practiced this a lot to initially learn it and to kind of create the method for it, it's not really that, but you kind of need something. A dragon, a blue pot, a red buff, something. So that's why it's there, and that's the perfect example why I just showed you that. So that's really how you do it. You need to make sure to step back just far enough to where this goes off of you, and then you are pretty much good to kite around the pools and everything. And yeah, that is really it for this. Okay, so to finish this video off, right now I'll be showing you guys a late game Baron kill on Elise. I don't have any dragons in this situation, but I am full build. So right, like you can see, full build right here, 44 minutes in game. So Baron is attack damage wise on the strongest he can be. He also has like 17k health, so this is completely a different situation from a 20-minute kill on Elise with this. I'm also gonna do this very sloppily on purpose, so you guys can see that it doesn't necessarily matter anymore at this point if you make some mistakes here and there, because you have so much room for those errors. I will be pointing out those errors as well. You have so much room for errors that it's just like, it's crazy. Also, I want to mention this. Any of the 3 dragons, Mountain, Infernal, or Ocean, and any of their souls makes this super easy in comparison to this. Like, if you have an Infernal Soul, this is like so much faster, so much better. Mountain Soul, same thing. Ocean Soul, same thing. So if you have a soul for any of those dragons, or just a dragon, like a couple of them dragons, you're fine. You don't have to worry about anything. You still have to do the mechanics somewhat properly, but it's gonna look something like this, like you see me on this Baron. You can make so many mistakes and you're still fine. So I definitely keep that in mind. If you want to practice with full build first. You can do it late game, but you can also do a full build at 20 minutes at level 18 and just have the highest leeway possible. You can even start it with doing it with souls, so you actually farm the soul in your practice tool and then learn it that way. I would recommend that, and then scale down to a minimal build until you get to the build where I did it with, and that's the lowest possible thing you can do it with. But if you can do it at that rate, you can do it with anything else. So right here, final thing, I will show you this, and I will show you all the mistakes as well. So right here, I still start the same way, but in this case, I throw my W out and I don't wait for it to explode. That's how I'm going to start this. As you can see, I don't wait for it to explode, so the spider is still running around a little bit there and it loses me some damage. Now, I still make sure, because if you don't do this, I still make sure that I lose this damage debuff to my spiderlings, because not doing that will just wipe you. It's not possible that way. Now right here, as I mentioned in this video, do not repel this, because as you can see, all my spiderlings died to this repel, apart from this one right there, but that will die as well. So that's mistake number 1. Now I switch back here. I switched back late as well, so I didn't instantly switch back. So right now on this switchback, I get this phase as well. Now you can dodge this by simply queuing, because your spiders kind of dodge it anyway. So that's another little thing. As you can see, I dodged it there with the spiders. But that's a mistake as well. Not instantly switching back to replenish your spiders is a big mistake. Now here I smite it, and I just go back, and I just do the rotation. And as you can see right here, I keep my damage debuff for a little bit too long, and then I don't really like have any respect for my spiders, and I let them die again. And you can still see, like, I'm still okay. This wasn't really that big of a deal. I made so many mistakes in this clip right here, this is a late game Baron, so it's at the highest damage it can be. I am full build though. You're gonna be full build at 45 minutes. If you're not, then I don't know what you're doing. But even with all those mistakes, this is the way to start learning it. Start learning it and scale down. So drop an item, drop anything. Just slowly scale down some levels. Scale down in like Baron. You can even do full build at 20 minutes and you're fine. I wanted to show you guys this simply because of that. You can do it with mistakes. Late game Baron solos with Elise with a full build like this. It's really easy. I made all those mistakes and I still killed it. Like, relatively, like, healthy-ish. I could have been full HP doing this if you did it perfectly, really. That's all I want to point out there, really. So, yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to hit the thumbs up and share it around. I want people to see this. I want Elise mains to actually start doing this. I want to see so many more Elises soloing Baron, because I think it's such a cool mechanic that people should learn, and definitely Elise one tricks need to know. Because if you don't know this, if you're maining Elise, then you're missing out on a crucial part of like being able to have a massive impact in a game. So that's definitely a thing. Also, for more Elise tips, more things like that, there is still a guide in the description top line. Anything else Elise related in the game, just build-wise, explanation-wise, you will find it there. And yeah, if you guys want to see more videos from me in the future, make sure to subscribe as well. And see you guys in the next video. Bye!